And we're clear. No, go ahead, dude.
And we're all right. Yeah. All right. You're still not in your head, Wayne. 4, 3, 2. Oh yeah, shit. Okay. Hey, welcome to the podcast. My name is Jaaron. I'm with my good friend Zach Zokel here. This is the Average Jives podcast. Zach, say hello. Say something.
Hi, everybody.
Say something in the camera. Something in the
No
camera.
camera. No camera this time.
Oh, that's right. We are a couple of friends who started this podcast because we love talking about movies. We love discussing and debating movies. And out of the brainchild that is Zach Zokel,
Yeah.
he decided we should do this pod where we get together once every few weeks and discuss, debate, and ultimately rank our favorite movies of a certain category that he has picked. We do not claim to be artists of any kind. We are not
not
smart people. I can't even think of words, which makes us just a couple of average jives. This week, we are talking about discussing our top 10 Alfred Hitchcock movies.
Hell yeah.
For those who are unfamiliar with the podcast, the format in which we kind of do this, Zach and I will go back and forth for the movies that we each picked. So we'll each introduce 5 movies that we picked, and then we will jump into our rankings, and we'll ultimately come up with our top 10. Yes, our top 10. Because this is our podcast. And if you disagree with any of them or you think a movie should be on there that isn't, please comment on Spotify, YouTube, and we will respond within 36 weeks.
Yeah. Or start your own damn podcast.
Yeah, start your own. It's our podcast. Get a life, man. All right. I think I went last time, Zach. So
okay.
Let's introduce your first movie. What do you got?
All right. My first Alfred Hitchcock movie is Notorious from 1946. It is based on the story by John Tainter Foote called The Song of the Dragon. The screenplay was by Ben Hecht, and Hecht was kind of like the golden age version of Robert Towne, where he has his fingerprints on like several great classics, but he went uncredited, But his most famous piece of work, to which he did get credit for, was this film and Howard Hawks's Scarface. It's starring Cary Grant, Ingrid Bergman, and Claude Rains. The story behind it, I just changed a few words, but it's basically IMDb's description of the movie.
Perfect.
The daughter of a convicted German spy is asked by an American agent to gather information on a ring of Nazi intellects in South America.
Yeah, and Rio, which I thought was odd, like German spies. Let's go to Rio.
Yeah, fucking Nazis. Nothing changes.
Fuck no. Nothing changes. They're threatening castration.
Fuck me.
We're gonna split hairs?
Yeah, am I wrong? Sorry, everybody. A little Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski quotes.
Don't worry about it.
Deal with it.
Yeah, I got a New York Times review. Bosley Crothers praised the film, writing, Mr. Hecht has written and Mr. Hitchcock has directed it in brilliant style, a romantic melodrama which is just as thrilling as they come. Velvet smooth and drama, action sharp and sure in its characters, and heavily charged with the intensity of warm emotional appeal. Boom.
Yeah, I think it was the longest screen time of a kiss, I believe, at that point.
Oh, really?
We'll dive deep.
Or we'll forget about it. You never know.
Or we'll forget about it, yeah.
Yeah, you never know with us.
For the listeners, it's a little tidbit, a little factoid.
All right. That's all I got, Jaaron.
Okay. So Notorious, your first movie, my first movie. Let's stick with the ends, I guess. We're going to go North by Northwest, released in 1959. It is about a New York City admin that is caught in a mistaken identity situation, has to go on the run to clear his name. Directed, obviously, by Alfred Hitchcock, because all these movies are.
Mm-hmm.
Written by Ernest Lehman, who also did The Sound of Music, The King and I, Sabrina, Sweet Smell of Success, and West Side Story.
Yeah, one of the great shooting screenwriters ever.
Yeah, that guy was on a
pretty impressive.
I had never heard of him. You're the you're the old school film guy. I'm the newer film school guy, and I was very surprised to read all those credits. Like, damn, this
Hmm.
guy was banging out some bangers.
Yeah. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf's another one. That's another
That
good
yeah,
one.
that was another one I had on my list. North by Northwest stars Cary Grant, Eva Marie Saint. I don't think I'm pronounced that right; just doesn't roll off the tongue. James Mason and a very young Martin Landau,
Yeah.
which I had to look it up. I'm like, God, that dude looks familiar. He's kind of a weird looking guy. First credit that it came up on IMDb, Rounders, and I'm like, oh, that's Martin
Oh
Landau. Boom.
shit. He has a great cameo in Entourage. He's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, he
You had
plays like the exact same character from Rounders.
Bob Ryan. Oh, dude, it's freaking hilarious. He's great. But
North by Northwest stars the famous, infamous Cary Grant. Oh, I just did that. Sorry.
you did. It's all right though.
The
It's all right.
Oscar nominations. They only had 3 nominations, which surprised me. Writing screenplay for Ernest Lehman, art direction, film editing.
Oh,
And to be very surprised, Roger Ebert did not review this movie.
I mean, 59. Well, yeah, shit. He sometimes went back and reviewed
I had
shit too.
Roger. I have a Roger review for almost every other Alfred Hitchcock movie. The only thing he did with this is about some of the close-up shots, some of the zoom-in shots when they're on, Mount Rushmore, things like that. But there
Mhm.
wasn't an actual review, so a little disappointing there. I will point out that it has an 8.3 on IMDb,
Yeah.
which I think is incredibly low.
Huh?
And pulled something from the New Yorker at the time that says Hitchcock's new study of the vagaries of the nervous system under pressure is a brilliant realization of a feat he has unintentionally been moving toward for more than a decade.
Nice.
Considered one of his top 4 best movies of all time. I actually did quite a bit more research on other people's rankings and other magazines' rankings and everything for this pod, just to
Hmm.
see kind of where these great movies have fallen on other people's lists and everything, and seems to be kind of a toss up. Honestly, nobody had the same number 1. Nobody had the
Right.
same top 5. It's going to be a very interesting debate when you and I get into this. I think I'll be surprised by some of yours, and I think you'll be surprised by some of
Yeah.
mine.
Vice
But
versa. Right. Yeah.
North by Northwest, great fucking movie, great movie, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
So Zach,
It's
what?
without spoiling. It's pretty high on my list. Not to spoil it, but
Yeah,
whatever.
yep. Me
Yeah.
too.
Okay. Okay. My next one is Psycho from
Mm,
1960.
mm-hmm.
The novel was written by Robert Bloch, while the screenplay was written by Joe Stefano, and neither really did much after the success of this film. But little tidbit, they both did write random Star Trek episodes, so take that for what it's worth. But whatever. And
Quentin Tarantino, baby.
yeah.
I mean, shit.
Block kind of lived off the Psycho coattail for a
Yeah.
while. He just wrote a bunch of sequels and spin-offs, but the film is starring Janet Leigh, the mother of
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Lee Curtis, and was also married to well-known actor Tony Curtis, Jamie Lee Curtis's father, obviously. Anthony Perkins, which this is hands down his most
His
famous
number 1.
role, and it
Yeah,
was
definitely.
yeah, he kind of got typecasted a little bit because of this. But Martin Balsam, who had supporting roles in such greats as On the Waterfront and 12 Angry Men by
Was
this
that
time.
the detective in that?
Yeah, he was juror number 1 in 12 Angry Men, and then
Mm.
on the Waterfront, he was one of the detectives, like you said. So, but it's also starring Verna Miles, I think, and she starred in John Ford's last great western, in my opinion, and that was The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Oh,
But
I fucking love that film.
that is a good one. I
Yeah.
love it too. I love it too. Maybe we'll cover it in the western pod, maybe. But
Oh,
yeah,
we'll definitely do a John Wayne someday.
another piece I stole from IMDb. Sorry, I haven't rewatched any of these, and believe it or not, this is the first time I've ever seen Psycho. This is the one where I'm like,
Wow.
compare. I was like, whenever what he asked, like, hey, what like classic movie have you never seen? I've always like, well, I've seen them all, but no, this is the one I haven't seen. So
Wow. You've never seen Ben-Hur either, I think, right?
No, shit. I have that movie fucking memorized. I could probably actually do the chariot race if somebody gave me a chariot. So
Yeah, wow, that's surprising that you've never seen Psycho before.
I
That's
know
interesting.
it's just it's one of those things I've always just kept to myself. It's like that secret, But
Yeah, well, not anymore, baby.
yeah, right, right. And like I said, another piece I stole from IMDb. It's a secretary on the run for embezzlement takes refuge at a secluded Californian motel owned by a repressed man and his overbearing mother. Quote end quote. I
Yeah,
added the quotation marks, but whatever. That was my contribution to the summary was the quotation marks from actually a paper I've never covered during the reviews. Jack Anderson from the Miami Herald wrote, "The pudgy Master of Suspense has dished up a real shocker, and I mean shocker. Psycho saws away at every nerve right from its first scene with Janet Leigh and her unmentionables to its last gruesome moment."
definitely. Yeah, the
Yeah.
last shot of that movie is, I mean, an all-time iconic shot, and we'll
Mhm,
dive deep into that once we start discussing these movies in more depth. But
mhm.
yeah, a lot of things to say about that. Interesting, very interesting ending to that movie.
Yeah, yeah,
My next movie, released in 1958, again considered one of the top three Hitchcock movies of all time, Vertigo.
yeah.
Written by five different writers, which I thought was kind of interesting. The screenplay was Alec Copel, who also did To Catch a Thief, Hell Below Zero. Samuel Taylor did Sabrina. And then Maxwell Anderson, one of the other known writers, the other two didn't do much. Maxwell Anderson, All Quiet on the Western Front, which I know you love,
Hmm.
Wrong Man, and Ben-Hur,
Yeah.
plus Meet Joe Black.
The
So the
original, I'm
guy,
guessing.
no,
Oh
the
shit.
1990 with Brad
Huh,
Pitt, yeah.
damn. All
So
right.
the guy had that guy had as a long stretching arm over Hollywood writing over the years for All Quiet on the Western Front, Ben-Hur, and Meet Joe Black is a very interesting threesome of movies to write.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Vertigo stars James Stewart, Kim Novak, Barbara Bell Geddes, JJ Geddes,
Yeah,
uh,
JJ. Mr.
Barbara
Mr.
Bell Getz, and Tom Elmore. For those unfamiliar with Vertigo's storyline structure, it is a former San Franciscan police detective with Vertigo is hired to follow and investigate the wife of a man who believes she is possessed by her great grandmother who committed suicide in the 1880s.
Hmm.
It was Oscar nominated for only two things. Again, this is a common theme with these Hitchcock movies. I was expecting a lot more Oscar noms. Only got art direction and best sound, which
Nice.
for it to be recognized as one of Hitchcock's best films and one of the greater films prior to 1970, um, very surprising that there are two nominations, and neither for direction, screenplay, or acting. It's just art direction and best sound.
Yeah, I'm under the impression in the research I did for it that it didn't do very well critically or in the box office.
Yeah.
But so,
Well,
so I'm
and I have
surprised
some
it got anything.
controversial I have
Yeah.
controversial thoughts. So
Okay.
we'll wait to dig into that every for those listening. Zach and I are trying to be a little more succinct in what we talk about and when we talk about. So we'll dive more into the movies once we actually get into the debate about the rankings.
Oh god damn it! Now I'm gonna have to edit that out. That took too much time to explain. I'm just kidding.
Roger Ebert did review this movie, 4 stars with the great movie seal approval.
Oh shit! Nice. Okay.
Quote from his review: "One of two or three of Hitchcock's best films ever, is his most confessional, dealing directly with the themes that controlled his art, and saying that it is, quote unquote, about how Hitchcock used, feared, and tried to control women throughout his life and
Hmm.
his directorials."
Yeah,
So
he's kind of a creep, but
yeah, and in the final scene of this movie that we'll talk about later, it kind of really I didn't put it together like that. I'm not a huge Hitchcock fan, but once Roger kind of said that, you think about the last scene of that film, it does kind of resonate with what he's saying, and him trying to use and control the women in his films and in his
Yeah,
life. So,
right.
moving on. Number 3 for you, Zach.
All right, number 3 for me is Rear Window from
Yeah.
1954. The mystery novel was written by a guy who some call the Edgar Allan Poe of the 20th century, but I mean I've never heard of him. His name is Cornell Woolrich, I think. I think that's how you pronounce it. But
Pretty
the
much something
I
like that.
never heard of him, but whatever. Uh,
No, me neither.
the screenplay was written by a dude by the name of John Michael Hayes, and you remember that movie Iron Will when we were like young? It's got like
Hmm.
Kevin Spacey. It's about the dog racing, the sleds.
I don't. No, I don't think so.
Nah, that's all right. I loved the movie
I know
growing up.
Iron Lung.
You had an iron lung.
Another Big Lebowski reference.
Yeah, but yeah, this
Good
mother.
day to you, sir.
Does he still write as he's in an iron lung? But yeah, this dude wrote that, and he also wrote a film which I believe was way ahead of its time, and it's become a great in my mind.
Definitely.
That's
Oh
the
fuck you.
Children's Hour. If we ever did a stage adaptation episode, that
Ooh,
the Children's Hour would be on my list for sure. So,
Glenn
and it's
Gary, Glenn Ross, number 1.
absolutely, dude, I already came up with 3 of yours, and I'll tell you about it
That's so fucking predictable.
the movie starring James Stewart, Grace Kelly, Thelma Ritter, and Raymond Burr plays the killer husband neighbor. And Rear Window is about a photographer confined to a wheelchair as he entertains himself by watching the lives of his apartment neighbors unfold. While people watch,
Veteran photographer.
yeah, that's true. While people, God damn it, excuse me. While people watching, it appears a neighbor has killed his wife. Now he must prove the crime, convince those closest to him and the authorities from his rear window. I gotta scroll down. Sorry. There we go. Okay, Time magazine called it just possibly the second most entertaining picture after 39 Steps ever made
Wow.
by Hitchcock. Now, this
Wow.
this this was in time, so he hadn't made
Sure.
he hadn't made a bunch of other like Psychos, North by Northwest, but the film uh, made by Alfred Hitchcock, and the film in which there is never an instant when director Hitchcock is not in minute and masterly control of his material. And
Yeah.
39 Steps did not make our list, but I've seen it. It's
No.
pretty good. I wouldn't. I don't think I would put it in a top 10, but that's
Well,
my
we probably
opinion. But
should have done some, you know, honorable mentions with Saboteur and 39 Steps and
yeah,
To Catch a
Suspicion.
Thief, and
Yeah,
you go on and on. I mean, Hitchcock, one of the greatest directors of all time. So
yeah,
again, this is our top 10 list. So just listen.
yeah.
My third movie, Strangers on a Train,
It's
released
a good one.
in 1951, written by my favorite author of all time, Raymond
Raymond
Chandler.
Chandler. Yep.
Yep, who did the Philip Marlowe series, in which I am reading the last book right now of that series. Also wrote Double Indemnity, Big Sleep, Murder My Sweet. It goes on and on. Raymond Chandler, just in my opinion, one of the top 3 best dialogue screenplay writers of all time. For those who love to read books and love classic noir, anything by Raymond Chandler is gonna put a smile on your face. Just a great writer. Based on the novel by Patricia Highsmith, who also did all of the Ripley novels.
Oh, cool.
Strangers on a Train stars Farley Granger, Ruth Roman, Robert Walker, and Leo G. Carroll. It's about 2 strangers who meet on a train. One tries to convince the other that he has come up with the perfect way to kill someone in each other's lives with having strong alibis, so neither of them are insinuated for that, using blackmail and cat and mouse that eventually emerge into this movie. Terrible synopsis by me there. Oscar nominations, again, very, very surprising. This is a fantastic movie, an enthralling, very suspenseful movie. Only got 1 Oscar nomination that year. for Best Cinematography. Roger Ebert gave it 4 stars, again, with the great movie seal of approval.
Hmm.
Says, not a psychological study, however, a first rate thriller with odd little kinks now and then. Proceeds with a sense of private scores being settled just out of sight. So, and I completely agree in this film. And we'll dive deeper later, but there are a lot of things going off a screen that the viewer has to kind of put together themselves.
Yeah, that's
They'll
true.
give you, he gives you the material, the dialogue gives you the material, but it really, it's not for a lazy viewer. And that's
No.
kind of Philip Marlowe's thing. Or I'm sorry, Raymond Chandler's thing. It's not for lazy view. I mean, you really have to be in touch with what's going on in the film in order to kind of keep up with it, which I know you and I love. Not a lot of exposition, right?
Hmm.
Don't give me a scene where, oh, but I was married to this woman in this year at this time, and she was the love of my life, and that is why I hate all women. Like, I mean, I
Nice. Very good, Jared.
you and I
Yeah.
dislike exposition. So for a movie like this to come out, just fantastic. And that is my third movie. I'm going to stop talking, or else I'll talk about it for another 10 minutes.
Oh shit, I'm guessing that's pretty high on your list, but it's
You'll
all right.
see. You'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll see.
You'll see.
Uh, Next on my list is Rebecca from 1940, and the screenplay was written by Robert Sherwood, and he wrote a film that I believe speaks the loudest for veterans of all generations, and it's called The Best Years of Our Lives.
Wow.
But yeah, it's phenomenal. I revisit it around either Veterans Day or Memorial Day every year. But
No kidding. Okay.
yeah, it was Sherwood and Joan Harrison who were responsible for writing the script, and Joan Harrison was actually Hitchcock's secretary at one point, and she went on to become one of the 3 main female producers under the Hollywood contract system.
Huh.
But little interesting note there.
Little
Uh,
factoid.
yeah, it's starring Laurence Olivier, Joan Fontaine, George Sanders, and going back to our last recording, remember Shere Khan from the Jungle Book?
Yeah.
That's George Sanders' voice that
Oh,
they
no
use.
shit.
Yeah, yep.
Nice.
And Judith Anderson, who plays the evil Mrs. Danvers, but Rebecca. Okay, yeah. Rebecca is a quiet, self conscious girl who marries a wealthy aristocrat but constantly feels and fears being overshadowed by the metaphorical ghost of her new husband's first wife. And I picked Pauline Kael's review because she's had some pretty interesting takes on some
Oh, she
pretty,
is
pretty,
a
pretty,
very interesting reviewer.
yeah, and some terrific features. But Pauline Kael called it a magnificent romantic goth corn full of Alfred Hitchcock's humor and inventiveness.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah,
actually a pretty good review. Yeah,
Pauline
yeah,
Kael, famous for some of hot takes before Stephen A. Smith was around. Seriously,
that's
Pauline
an
Kael, very polarizing figure in the movie review world. Sometimes she is spot on. Other times, I don't know if she was smoking something back then.
yeah, yeah. Maybe she just wanted to go against the grain too. Sometimes just for shits and giggles, but
Yeah, like you and I do.
yeah, exactly. Now
Yeah,
shut up and to get to it.
exactly. That was better for my character.
Oh,
Exactly.
oh shit.
What else do you have?
I think that's it. Actually, did
Okay.
I? Yeah, that's all Pauline Kael said, or that's all that I copied and pasted.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So moving on to my next film, the classic Rope, released in 1948. Screenplay was written by Arthur Lawrence, who did The Way We Were, The West Side Story. It's featured around, or it was adapted by the play by Patrick Hamilton, and then actually a writing credit to Hume Cronin, who I'd never heard of, but actually was an actor who played in Cocoon, Parallax View, and Hamlet,
Oh, nice,
which I thought
nice.
were pretty 3 interesting acting credits there. Rope stars James Stewart, John Dahl, and Farley Granger. It is about two men who commit the murder of a college friend and then host a dinner party with his body in the very chest in which they served dinner on. And
Yeah.
then this was adapted from a play that's surrounded and based upon the Leopold Loeb murder, in which two gay men actually think that they are intellectually superior and have thought of the perfect murder. So they abducted a 14-year-old child and murdered him, and then thought they could get away with it. Obviously, did not. It
Hmm.
was coined, the murder of the century at the time, and a big deal way back then. So this was an adaptation of a play of that, and we're definitely going to deep dive into this later on.
Hmm.
Fortunately, not a single Oscar nod, not a nomination, not a win, nothing. Roger Ebert, very surprisingly to me, 2 stars out of 4.
Ouch. What a
Yeah,
great take from Roger.
pretty pissed off with Roger on this one. I called Rope, quote unquote, or no, I'm sorry, Roger in his review actually quotes Hitchcock that says Rope was, quote unquote, an experiment that didn't work. And then Roger goes on to say he was correct in that it didn't work, but Rope remains one of the most interesting experiments ever attempted by a major working director. And then another quote from Hitchcock that said that he was happy to see it kept out of release. And it almost didn't get released at theaters. It took 28 years for it to be
Yeah.
released.
Yeah.
So interesting. I kind of see where they're coming from, but we're going to deep dive into this obviously again. But
Yeah. I
damn,
got a few notes on that for sure.
what a fucking movie, dude. Seriously, I had never seen it before. I know you and I talked about it, especially about the how many cuts there are, and you know what movie has the longest running shot in film history, and this could
Hmm.
arguably be up there with 1917. Yeah, it was great. I'm glad that we have it on our list. We will definitely be talking about it more in depth here when we get into our rankings.
All right,
All right,
Jaaron.
Zach, your last film, number
This is my
9. What do
last
you got?
one. I got Shadow of a Doubt from
Yeah, baby.
1943. Based on the Gordon MacDonald's story. The screenwriters were Thornton Wilder, Sally Benson, and Alma Reveille. Reveille wrote another Hitchcock picture a few years later, Suspension. A lot of people consider that one of his greats, but it didn't make our list, but that's not a big deal.
Again,
Uh,
our list.
it's starring Teresa Wright, Joseph Cotton, who had just been discovered by an ambitious young theater actor director, the legendary Orson Welles, and
Oof.
they had starred together in uh, Welles's masterpiece Citizen Kane just a couple years before that.
Yeah.
And the film is also stars Henry Travers, who I recognized him from. He plays oh crap Clarence and It's a Wonderful Life. That's who
Oh
it is.
wow.
The
Okay. Yeah.
angel, yeah. But Shadow
No
of a
relation to
Doubt.
Peter Travers from Rolling
No,
Stone.
from the Rolling Stones. Nope,
No.
nope, nope. Shadow of Doubt is about a young girl who is excited for her uncle's return to their small Californian town until she begins to suspect he is the Merry Widow Killer. Uh, the Merry Widow Killer is a suspect of a nationwide hunt, and I went back to another critique. It's a short critique by Bosley Crothers of the New York Times. He loved the film, saying that Hitchcock could raise more goose pimples to the square inch of a customer's flesh than any other director in Hollywood.
Wow,
So,
square inch of a customer's flesh. That's an
yeah,
interesting way to put that. Yeah, I
basically.
noticed that a lot of reviews of all of Hitchcock's movies use the word goose pimples as opposed to goosebumps.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that just like a generational thing? I don't know. I read
probably.
goose pimples every time, and I'm like, I don't. That's a weird thing to say.
Goose pimples, goosebumps, chicken skin. I've heard all those before.
Chicken skin.
Yeah,
don't think I've ever heard that one.
yeah. My ex used to call it chicken skin.
Weird. She was weird. No, just kidding. I love
Well,
all of Zach's ex.
yeah. And they love you, my friend. So don't worry about it.
All right. So to wrap it up here, number 10 on the list, not in the rankings. My last movie that I picked for Alfred Hitchcock, Dial M for Murder. maybe one of the interesting titles of a movie ever.
Yeah.
Released in 1954, written by Frederick Knott, who actually he wrote A Perfect Murder, which is loosely based upon Dial M for Murder, which is starring Michael Douglas, which may or may not be coming up in another podcast that we release
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
It is about a playboy husband in England who learns of his wife's infidelity and plots a quote unquote near perfect murder to have a college roommate blackmailed for his murder's wife, or for his wife's murder.
Yeah.
Oh, phenomenal! I very much enjoyed this movie. We're going to talk about that. It
Yeah.
stars Ray Milland, the beautiful Grace Kelly,
Yes.
Robert Cummings, and John Williams. Again, maybe shouldn't be that unexpected now, but zero Oscar nominations, zero Oscar wins. I could not find a Roger Ebert review either.
Hmm.
So I took this from The Guardian, and it says it is a romping plot, a gloriously slimy villain, some of the weirdest and trickiest camera work of Hitchcock's entire career, and Dial M for Murder. And for it to be set basically pretty much in one room, the entire movie,
Yeah.
just a hell of a job building suspense. Similar to Rear Window, where James Stewart's just locked in one room and he's looking out a rear window.
Yeah.
This takes place basically in one apartment flat in the entire movie.
And it's a good one. Yeah. I
It
never seen
is.
that one either. I kind of like.
I,
Yeah.
I have I have to admit, I don't. I think I had only ever seen Psycho, North by Northwest, and Vertigo. Well, and Strangers on a Train, which was the first Hitchcock movie that I'd ever seen, and the first Hitchcock movie DVD I'd ever purchased.
Good choice.
Strangers on a Train. But I'd only ever seen North by Northwest, Psycho, and Vertigo, Strangers on a Train before this. So I gotta say, this is a hell of a choice of a category, Zach. I love that you picked this.
Well, and it's kind of funny that you say that because similar to what you said earlier, I haven't always been the biggest Hitchcock fan either, and maybe I've taken a little. I don't know. Maybe I've taken what Tarantino and what Orson Welles have said
Right.
too much to heart, where he just he didn't really venture far off the suspense, and I know a lot of filmmakers kind of. I guess I don't know. He just wasn't that much of a risk taker, I guess, as far as
Sure.
genres go. But yeah, and I still like all of his movies, and because of his direction, we got he obviously influenced a lot of the greats like Spielberg and stuff like that. So but yeah, and you know me, I like the old stuff, so I
Sure.
kind of felt a need to put something on this first season's
Yeah.
episode list. So why
And
not
I'm
hit?
glad we did.
Yeah,
Some of these movies, Rear Window, Dial M, and Shadow of a Doubt, Notorious. Like these are films critically recognized as. We could always get into the debate of the best movies of all time, but
yeah, yeah.
these are some of the movies that are considered in those top 25, 50 that I mean, I'd never heard of Notorious, right?
Hmm.
I'd known Rope because of the cutting aspect of it, things like that. Rear Window, I'd heard of, and it's a fucking masterpiece. Never even thought to watch it,
Oh yeah, Real
and
Window's
and
great.
now I've purchased it on
Hell yeah,
on
hell yeah.
Prime. So okay, so those are the 10 movies. We'll recap again just for the listeners here. So the 10 movies that we have in no particular order: Rope, Vertigo, Shadow of a Doubt, Rebecca, Strangers on a Train, Notorious, Psycho, North by Northwest, Dial M for Murder, and Rear Window. So now at this point in the pod, Zach and I will start our debate and our discussion of where we have these movies ranked. And what we normally do is one of us will say what we have at number 9 or 10, and we will dive into that right now. So Zach, you introduced your movies first, so I'm going to start,
Okay,
and I'm going to say at number 10, I have Rebecca.
okay, okay. I mean, I'm just going to give you a heads up right now. All the quote unquote perfect crime movies are to the back. So That's I'm just giving you a little heads up. So I obviously have Rebecca a little bit further. I got it at 6, and you know why I have it at
Wow.
6 that high? Because I honestly like it because it's like one of his least suspenseful
Yeah,
features. There's no, and you know, you and I, neither one of us are like shock and awe guy. Don't like give us like we're not cliffhanger guys. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying obviously Rebecca's a movie, but uh, just that reason. And then it was Hitchcock's first Best Director nomination. The movie got like 11 nominations total. It was
it
the
did.
highest grossing film of 1940, and it was also his only Best Picture winner. So, and I like I said, I enjoyed it. Not as at 6. Obviously, I liked how there's more, but that's my justification for why it's at 6.
Well, and for that same reason, I guess, not to be ironic, but it is his on this list. I think the most or the least Hitchcock of his films.
Yeah, yeah,
And when I think Hitchcock, and we just talked a bit about this a second ago, is he is the master of suspense, right? He didn't really stray too far from what he did best. And is that a bad thing? I don't know. Did he take a lot of shots? No, he knows what he's good at, so you stick with it, right? If you're
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're good at something, you do it, and you perfect it, and you try to do it better and better over and over again.
Hmm.
The score in it kind of kept me. It just seems so happy-go-lucky of a score the entire time, and even when
Yeah, like the clean
the
song.
new wife was going down by the sea and running into the weirdo in the cabin, and it
Yeah,
just had this kind of melancholy, or not melancholy, like just this fanciful score that made it seem so uplifting and bright, and yet there's some dark things being
there
talked
is some
about and
darkness.
dark
Yeah,
things on and it was the last movie that I watched of this, so maybe it was just because I'd watched 9 other Hitchcock movies,
yeah.
and I was
10
expecting.
was the last spot. Yeah, you needed to
Yeah, it was
fill.
just like maybe I was expecting more suspense and more thrill, and to me it kind of drug a little bit in the middle there. I get it, the dude's hung up on his wife, and then obviously you learn why he's hung up on it, because she didn't
They
die at
actually,
sea.
yeah, they actually like kind of hated each other. Actually,
Yeah, and it turns out to be a perfect crime. Uh,
yeah, that's
a murder cover up is what it ended up being, and I was surprised at the end of it. And then the whole murder trial, it just didn't seem like Hitchcock to me. Not saying that it's a bad movie, but I felt it was the lesser of the 10 that we had.
yeah. Which I mean,
So
it's the oldest of the movies we have, and it's like you said, kind of grow as you go. You know, it was
sure, and
Hitchcock's first American picture, but
and I think you could I mean watch, like I said, it was the last of the 10 that I had watched,
mhm,
and I could tell that I'm like, wow, he's very raw cutting here, and some of the dialogue, which isn't on Hitchcock, is a little little off kilter of what he normally puts on film. Again, he's not the writer of any of these films, so the dialogue isn't really on him. But
right, right,
it just seemed, yeah, very raw, and I could tell that it was his first film. And it's kind of like I said, ironic that it was the last film of the 10 that we have,
hmm
and it was his first film. So
yeah. But
maybe I
to
should have started with that one, and it would
yeah,
have. I could have, and maybe that's when we do directors like this, maybe I should start watching these films in chronological
and go
order to
older,
see,
yeah,
how these directors grow as they go over time.
yeah.
So
But I
if you
mean,
had that, no, I'm sorry,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
all I'll say is I just with everything I said, I don't think it's the worst one on the list. I mean, it kind of catapulted him to the
Sure,
success that he had. And like in another description I have with my ranking system, so you got to kind of give credit to where credit is due. And I just don't, I don't think it's the number 10. It doesn't have to be number 6,
sure.
but we'll, but
Well,
what did you have at 9?
let me ask you first. Then, what did you have it then?
I had Dial M for Murder.
Oh,
Yeah.
Zach.
I just told you I spoiled it to you a little bit. Like I have the 3 quote unquote perfect crime movies. I'll just go all 3 of them. right up, right here, right now. Get it
Yeah,
out of the
hit me.
way. I just hope you don't hang up on me. But
Into the pod. Bye.
end of the pod.
Our connection was bad,
Yeah,
so we'll pick
I
it up
fucking
later
quit.
again, maybe. Okay, so you had
Yeah,
Dial M at 10, and then what'd you have a 9?
Strangers on a Train.
Oh my
Which
God, Zach.
that one is the one where I was like, all I wrote down for my justification for why I had it at 9 was that I just didn't like the ending. I just thought it was kind of, or even kind of the third act. It was well shot, but I thought it was kind of corny, I guess. But
Uh, I can agree with that.
yeah, but that's seriously all I wrote. Like I said, hey man, it's a really good movie. All these movies are really good. So
Of course,
yeah, don't take this as 9. It sucks. Where it's like, well, since I have it, so I have to justify why I have it that far back,
you
and that
do.
was yeah. So, but yeah, and then I had Rope at 8, and
Oh my God,
I want to talk
what
to
the
you about
fuck are we
Rope.
doing here?
I want to talk to you about Rope. All right,
Oh man, okay,
okay. This approach, this 10-minute take, single take, is it
sure.
genius or is it lazy? Because
Invisible swipe.
yeah, because when you think about it, big picture wise, like you can say it's impressive that the actors can hold that dialogue, but then stage actors do that day in, day out all the fucking time. Like, so that's not that impressive. And even Hitchcock admitted while I was researching for the movie that he got bored shooting it because
Yeah,
everything had to be planned out perfectly and it didn't allow him to get creative. It didn't
yeah.
allow
There's
him to
no.
be spontaneous. And not just that, I ended my justification at Rope for this was the only movie Jimmy Stewart was in with Hitchcock that he didn't like. So
Yeah, and in the research, it's the same thing that you said. He said he felt lack of creativity. I think at one point he said, "Yeah, not much to say about that movie."
yeah,
Again, just disappointing in my view. And
everyone
is it?
everyone I said, you were like, oh my god, your like
Oh my
voice got
God.
more pissed off every time.
Dude, I was honestly, I was blown. I had obviously never seen the play that it's based upon. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't familiar with the murder that this is kind of based upon either. Um, kind of and Roger gave it a 2 out of 4. So
Right.
for you to put it that low, you're kind of on par with Roger Ebert, which is saying something, right?
Yeah. I mean, me and
But
Raj, obviously, best friends. We have
oh
the
yeah,
same
totally,
movie, so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Cell phone before he died.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
um, but watching it, and again, I think you and I had spoken about a little bit because 1917 came out, and we kind of talked about that a little bit, and the continuous shots, and lack of cuts, and who has the longest of history.
Mm-hmm.
I was just blown away that a major filmmaker would take this sort of a risk with this kind of film.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I mean, within the first 10 seconds, you see two college friends murder one of their other college friends and then
Yeah.
put
Right
him in a chest and say, "We're now going to host a dinner party with some of the victim's friends and family."
away.
What a novel like, wow. What I mean, that's just. And then for him to try to adapt it as close as he could to be a play, I could see it where it could be constricting, right? Where you don't have a lot of spontaneity, you can't be that creative. Things have to be on pretty much a timer. So you're going to
Right.
zoom into an actor's back, right? And then you got to move the shit around on set, and then you got to zoom out, and it's got to look like it's the same, but everybody's was able to kind of take a breath. But at the same time, these actors are doing long dialogues, which, like you
Mhm.
said, yes, in a play, play actors, they have to do this 9 in and 9 out. I get that, and it's a whole different acting world, right?
Yeah.
I've really not seen a lot of plays in my life. I
It's
live in
pretty
fucking
impressive.
Vail, Colorado, so
Yeah.
we don't have a play. Um, but I mean, I was just taken with the movie. I honestly was on the edge of my seat the whole time. And with the college professor coming in, like, you always thought that you could pull off the perfect murder. And, where is and it's, and the other character, like, we're going to get caught and he's going to sniff us out. And then his fiance, and they're going to put them in the room together with the other gentleman and there were so many layers to it that and then again, I love during these Hitchcock movies, and some of the other movies nowadays, if you can actually pull off shooting an entire film within one kind of set piece,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
says something. I
I
mean,
mean,
they
yeah.
don't go out of the apartment, out of the flat the entire time. The entire movie is shot within these, not four walls, because they got the dining room and that little hallway that they go into, but to be able to build suspense within such a confined space.
No, I mean, yeah, that's the like one of my that's why I love stage to screen so much because
Yeah,
it's just
totally.
it's entertaining in just this one freaking interior or one exterior shot. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? There's no, and I freaking love that. You would think I would love Rope as much as I did, but like
I
I
thought you'd
think
love it more, but
yeah, which I mean, rewatching it for the pod, I mean, my it kind of like it was like a tale of two cities. I was writing how great it was, but then like that light turned on. And I was like, wait a minute, like is this really like that impressive, or am I just do I just kind am I just entertained like you said because of the impression I have of the freaking singular interior shot, you know what I
right.
mean? But and so I kind of veered more towards it really isn't that impressive. And then listen, and then seeing that Hitchcock wasn't that big of a fan of it, and neither was Jimmy
Yeah.
Stewart. So it's kind of like okay, that kind of just. And now I didn't read the
Well, you know what? Tom
Lodge
Cruise didn't like
review.
Cocktail. You gonna tell me Cocktail isn't a good movie?
Oh, it's terrible, but that's not. That's just my take.
I love Cocktail. It's such a bad movie, but I fucking love that movie.
I fucking
But that's like literally one of his quotes. Like, yeah, not my favorite. I kind of choose to forget that I did that movie, and it's like, no, come on, Tom, you're flipping liquor bottles in the air, and
yeah.
you're on a beach serving fucking mai tais. Like,
Well, and shit, I was just thinking about this. I don't know why I didn't write it down in my notes, but like for Rope, like when you die, you shit yourself. So putting him in that freaking, putting him in the chest, putting him in the chest, like you think the guests aren't going to be like, oh my god, what the fuck is that smell?
and then they're gonna serve dinner on top of that chest. So,
it gets worse as we get closer to the food.
okay, well, I can't disagree with anything you said. I I just thought it was. I mean,
Oh, wait,
such
again, like we just
it's a
said,
tight movie too, right? I
movies
mean, it
aren't
has to
bad.
be. Like,
You just got to like justify where it's at on the list, and that's just where I happen to have on the list, you know. So,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
speaking of which, my dog just farted right next to me, and wow, it fucking stinks. I
Nice.
couldn't imagine eating dinner anywhere near him right now. And he's not dead, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, good. Yeah, he's not. Yeah.
Just to be clear. Okay, well,
Okay. So,
surprising. I ended up putting Rope at 6. I
oh, and
originally I
I
originally
actually.
had it at 9 in my original rankings because again I'd never
Oh,
seen it.
okay.
Never, I hadn't even heard about it until our conversations about it, and then I think it was like the third or fourth movie I'd watched of this list, so I catapulted it all the way up to 3 at one point.
Jesus, that's a pretty big leap, bro.
I know, I enjoyed it. I mean, again, it's one of the movies I purchased on Prime because I'm definitely going to revisit it. I'm going to go back to this movie again. I thought it was very entertaining, and a young James Stewart, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
young
Uh,
James, just not Rear Window James Stewart. Like,
no, or Vertigo, James Stewart, but
yeah.
you
So
saying that you had it at 6, that's the farthest I would be okay with going.
putting it up. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, that's going to be our first one that we lock in. Rope at 6. We got to talk a little bit about Dial M for Murder for you having it at 10.
Oh, like I said, just the fact that he made 3 perfect crime ones, so automatically I put it to the back. But honestly, the only reason I had it at 10 was because I wrote the least amount of notes for it. Like
Oh,
I don't know if it was just because like I was too sucked into the movie or what it was, but that was just it was a pretty bland reason to put it at 10, but that's why I guess I liked it.
and I had never seen it before. I In my original rankings, I had it at 8. Again, it was just because I never heard of it really. I'd never seen it. You go on, you put Strangers and North by North and Psycho and Rear Window, like Vertigo, all these movies that have had critical acclaims and everybody knows them just by their titles. Like, well, this movie definitely can't be, as good as that. So I had it at 8. after I
Mhm.
watched it, I actually put it at 2 for a minute.
Jesus God, dude, what the fuck?
Dude, it was such a. I mean, again,
God, okay.
it's another one of these we're confined, and I know that's what Hitchcock did in his earlier years. Well, his first movie, you're all over, right? You're in south of France, and then
Mhm.
you're traveling all over in Rebecca, and then you do Rope, and you do Dial M for Murder, and almost the entire movie takes place in one room. And I mean, the suspense in it, and when he invites his college roommate over or college classmate over and then kind of talks about, oh yeah, I saw you a couple weeks ago, and he invites him over by, oh, I saw you had a car for sale, and he invites him over like, hey, I know you were kind of in a little disarray at the end of college because you were, people thought you stole that $100 or whatever it
Yeah,
is from the
yeah.
treasury, and then finds out that he's down on his luck, and then he thinks of this perfect murder case. And I love, maybe I'm opposite in the sense of view where like I
I think
love these
so.
perfect murder
Yeah,
cases
yeah. That's
where the
that's the
stories.
vibe I'm getting, is that you
And he tries to murder the wife, the beautiful, like I said, the
Grace
angelic
Kelly.
Grace Kelly. Oh my God, we're gonna talk about her more in Rear Window. For her to then murder that man, and
Yeah.
then as the story unfolds with the investigator, Hitchcock. Well, again, not Hitchcock, but the dialogue kind of plays it out where, okay, now this plan is ruined, but because certain things happened and certain didn't, and then he makes one or two choices, and then oh my God, and Hitchcock's there. He's got the above shot above the room prior than anything even happening, and where he's kind of laying out what's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah, I wrote that in my notes too. I
And
like that.
I just thought it was fantastic. And then again, I am a fan of the perfect murder and the perfect crime kind of movie. So
Mhm.
like I said, I catapulted it up to 2. I came
It
back
ain't
to
at 2.
reality.
Yeah, I was gonna say it ain't fucking. I was about to say, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I know, but I had it at 6.
Hmm.
So with you having it 10, I mean, it depends on where we're going to put Strangers then, because I had Strangers at 8, you had
Oh
it at 9.
yeah, I might be a little bit stubborn about Rebecca because I liked it that much, but I don't. I just the fact that it was his only Best Picture winner. I just don't think you can put it at 10. I don't think you can put Rebecca at 10.
Okay, we
But
have Rope at 7. How do you feel Rebecca or we have Rope at 6? How do you feel Rebecca at 7?
that's fine. Yeah,
All right.
you could
So
even put
then
it.
so then
Well,
and this is, this is kind of the essence of the podcast here, right? Like I
mhm.
had Rebecca at 10, you had it at 6. Um I had Strangers at 8, you had it at 9, so I'm happy with it at 9.
Okay.
But then that leaves the question, what are we going to put it then?
Hmm. What did shit?
Yeah, this is going to be tough here. I had Shadow of a Doubt at 9.
I had it at 7. I mean, and yeah, I mean, honestly, we both didn't think it was the worst one.
No,
So I guess I
and
actually
that
liked it. So
I did too. But it's I had some nitpicks. So I watched it over at a buddy's house. I watched 3 of the movies at a buddy's house on one of my days off last week because I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna be hanging out watching Hitchcock, and he's like, just watch them over here. We'll hang out. He didn't watch any of them. I was like enthralled with all of them, but one of them that we watched was Shadow of a Doubt, and
Mhm.
I was kind of in a nitpicky mood, I guess.
Yeah.
But like the first thing is, so you're telling me this East Coast widow killer has now gone all the way out to the West Coast. And then there's an article in a West Coast newspaper about this widow killer from the East Coast.
Hey, it's national news. It's a big deal. I
Was
don't
it
know.
though? I mean, obviously this is all fiction. It's fairy tale.
I mean, this was before the war, so I mean, they were probably desperate for news back then. I would
Okay,
guess, but
I could see that.
yeah.
But I thought it was a little weird with the Uncle Charlie and the niece Charlie. Just
Well, and weren't the
their
authorities
dynamic.
coming out? So like they, I guess shit. You wouldn't want to kind of tell the killer that. and law enforcement's. Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, maybe you're just being a little nitpicky,
I am, and I know I am.
but
But and I thought it was. I mean, it was almost incestuous the way they were talking to each other, the way they were
yeah,
looking at
I
each
felt
other,
that way too. Yeah, it was a little odd,
and
but
maybe that was part of the screenplay's plan and what Hitchcock kind of wanted it to feel, and in order because she did say, "I feel like we're not uncle and niece. I feel like I am a part of you, like we're
yeah,
twins."
yeah,
So if if you have something to tell me, I'm gonna guess what you have to tell me, and then how she finds the news article and like that's something about you, isn't and I don't know if I'm just trying to piece together two strings that don't even belong.
yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, I mean, I can, with Shadow of a Doubt, I kind of consider this Hitchcock's like family movie. He doesn't really have a lot of movies that are centered around
No, not at all.
family. It's usually just one or two people, that's a married couple or some shit, one
Right.
or two kids, but
Or some
it's a little
bullshit.
suburban family and stuff. But
Okay,
yeah,
so
I
where
mean,
where did you have Shadow of a Doubt on your list?
I had it at 7.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's not disappointing then. Um, Oof.
We're still killing it. Number 10, I don't,
Number 10, I think we need to push Out of a Doubt.
okay, I'm all right with that.
Okay, because I refuse to put Dial M for Murder at 10.
I mean, Jesus, you had it at 2 at one point.
Oh, dude, I got done watching it. I'm like, holy shit! Like, just a fun movie, and it's again a perfect movie, which turns into something. And okay, well,
Hmm.
so
Oh,
what I'm going
okay.
to do now is since we now have our 6 through 10,
Hmm.
I'm going to recap that now.
Right. Good. Good. Good
So,
idea.
for the listeners here, number 10, Shadow of a Doubt. Number 9, Strangers on a Train. Number 8, Dial M for Murder. Number 7, Alfred Hitchcock's only Best Picture winner, Rebecca. And then coming in at number 6, rounding out our 6 through 10, is Rope.
Darling for murder. You
And
like
Dial M for Murder.
already said
Okay, so I
it.
started off with my number 10. So let's hear your number 5, Zach. What do you got?
I got Vertigo at number 5. Yeah.
I completely fucking agree.
Okay. Yeah. Because
I actually had it at 7.
okay. Okay. Well, because you and I have talked. I mean, we've talked about Vertigo before already, where it's
Yeah.
like several critics and cinephiles believe this is Hitchcock's like greatest directorial achievement, and
Yeah.
maybe it's the hype that I just when I watched it, I was like, oh, I was expecting more. But rewatching it for the pod, I could see it. It wasn't.
There's certain things that he does, yeah,
Yeah.
that I think is great too. But I don't know, maybe it's the hype for me too. I think I told you this story before. So about 4 years ago, I was living in Denver, and this girl I was seeing at the time knew I was a big movie buff, and they re-released Vertigo in theaters.
Hmm.
And so she got us 2 tickets at one of those Cinedyne, have dinner and
Oh,
relaxing
nice,
chairs and shit
nice.
like that. She fell asleep.
Oh, which yeah, it kind of goes into my reasoning for
And,
Vertigo not being the goat is because
no,
it took me 3 times just to
I
get through it before I could.
I
Yeah.
remember looking over at her and thinking, "Wow, what a bitch!" Like
But then
falling
2 seconds
asleep
later, you fell asleep.
during an Alfred Hitchcock movie in the theaters that she bought. But then after about another 20 minutes, there was still another 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes left in the movie, and I'm like, I'm ready for this movie to end.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's by far his slowest movie on this list.
sure, sure.
Even Rebecca kind of takes a while, and Notorious kind of takes a while. Well, not Notorious so much,
Yeah,
but the movie's name is Vertigo. They mention his vertigo in the very first scene, right? Great,
yeah.
perfect. It's what you want to do with the title of the movie. They
Hmm.
don't mention his vertigo until like an hour 10 into the movie next.
Movie. Yeah, yeah,
And then for a long time, and this is another movie I watched at my buddy's. He's like, man, not a lot happening in this one.
yeah. And
For a long stretch of time, I think it's like 25, 30 minutes, he's just following her around.
Hmm.
and there's barely any dialogue going on. There's no action scenes. It's just following a person from one place to another.
Yeah. I mean,
And again,
he's a PI, isn't he? That's what I mean. That's what they
well,
do.
he was a detective, and then
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
and then he retired, and then he was kind of brought out for this, and which
right.
I kind of thought it was the least Hitchcock y movie in the sense that the whole premise of the movie is a woman is possessed.
Hmm. Or
Not
yeah,
really,
yeah,
not really something that he deal like murder. Sure, wrongly accused, yes, but woman, and then obviously you find out at the end it's not what is had been in the first hour and a half of the movie. But yeah, I just thought, yeah, I can't put it any higher than 5 for me either.
no, me neither. Me neither. I thought I gave it enough chances to,
Yeah,
like I've said, catapult to be this iconic movie that everybody says it is. And like I say, I see a little bit of it. Like I
yeah.
like the exceptional, like the sharp imagery and the colors, and it's got a decent climax. And of course, I think
No, the
Novak's
climax is
fucking gorgeous, dude. I think she's freaking
Kim Novak,
phenomenal. Yeah,
beautiful. But that
yeah,
and there's a and I was in a nitpicking mood that day, right? Because I had to been because I was just picking these movies apart.
yeah.
For one, you mentioned Kim Novak. How do you see her with her eyebrows and her eyes and her voice and the one freckle on her left cheek and you don't think that it's the exact like he's drawn into her like, oh my god, you look so much like her. No, she looks exactly
Like,
like her because she is these same eyes, these same freckle, these same like
yeah, just different color hair and different hairstyle. Yeah,
yeah. And I was just like, come on. And then my biggest nitpick of that entire movie is once you get to the point where she is kind of writing that letter and they kind of play Hitchcock kind of plays what actually happened over her dialogue, over her voiceover. How in the hell did the husband get the dead wife up to that bell tower without anyone seeing him, and then at the exact moment in time that he thought James Stewart's character was going to take Kim Novak's character up there? Like it, I mean, the timing of that is,
yeah.
and I get that's what all suspense movies are about, right? Like, oh, it's perfect timing. Would that ever really happen? But
No, I think I thought about that and I kind of like came up with a way to make it work, but now I'm kind of spacing on it now. But
which is kind of like, damn, dude, that's kind of a Deus Ex Machina, right? Like,
yeah,
we just needed something to work out perfectly right here, so let's write it in.
hmm, yeah,
But I will say it, and the last shot is phenomenal with the green neon lights. She's
hmm,
walking out,
yes,
like
yes,
Hitchcock puts like fog into the apartment, and he's staring at her, thinking, "This isn't the woman I fell in love with. It is the woman, but it's not quite the woman." And then she
right,
comes out in the exact suit and the exact hair,
hmm,
and it's going back to her face where she's like, "I know he's not in love with me. He's in love with this character that I played." And goes back to his face. It's like, I'm in love with this woman, but I'm not. I'm in love with the woman, the character that she played. Like, you could just kind of see heartbreak on both of their faces. And with her walking slowly, I thought it was a great last shot. Like, it
yeah,
was
yeah,
genuinely almost perfect, which maybe that's where the critics were saying, hey, this is one of
yeah.
his best
That's
works.
what we were talking about. Yeah, there's you see greatness in the movie, but I couldn't obviously similar to you. I couldn't put it any higher than five. So
And some of the
that's
animation was, pretty trippy as well.
yeah,
you know, with the flowers, and then it kind of turns into literal animation, like onto the screen. It's like it turns into a Disney movie there for half a second.
yeah. It's impressive. It's impressive.
Okay, all right. Enough about Vertigo. So that's what you had at 5. So I'm interested to know what you have for.
I got Notorious at four.
Thank you. Okay, yes.
Yes. Thank you. I
And
mean,
honestly, I depending on what you have at 3, I'd be okay with it either way. But Notorious at 4, I had it at 5.
okay, because I mean, it's not too over the top artistically, and I honestly, I was thinking about Spielberg watching this movie. And I
Oh,
don't know why. It's just I know how much influence.
the German
Yeah,
Nazi.
yeah. How much he took from Hitchcock.
Mm-hmm.
What inspirations, and I kind of feel like it wasn't overly flashy in my opinion, and
Mm-mm.
just and again, I'm a sucker for World War II movies and
Yep.
Nazi hunter based storylines, so it's kind of a personal preference for mine, but it's also I thought Ingrid Bergman gave the best performance out of any actor, male or female, any performance on this list. Out of
Totally.
yeah, I thought she was incredible, and I haven't seen new Ingrid Bergman film like, or obviously they're not, none of them are new, but like I haven't seen an Ingrid Bergman movie for the first time in a really long
In a
time, and
while.
I was like
Yeah.
surprised about how I kind of forgot how great she is as an actress. But so yeah, that was my reasoning for having Notorious at 4. So
No, and
it wasn't necessarily, oh, it's such a grand movie. It's, oh yeah, it's just simple, just like kind of
well,
cut
it's
and
more of a love
dry.
story too.
Yeah, yeah, a melodrama like the critics
Sure.
said that I mentioned. Yeah, yeah.
And it's the very first thing I wrote down was great synopsis. How will it work?
Hmm. Yeah.
Like, because it's a daughter of a charged treasonist, or no, that's not a word. Of a man charged with treason. How about we put that?
There we go. There we go.
Who then gets kind of talked into, or however you want to say, into now being a spy for the Americans against the U.S. in Rio.
Yeah, yeah.
It would
That's
seemed a
really what
little
it felt.
convoluted. I mean, I love it. It's a good story. It's a good synopsis. But I'm like, how are they going to make this? How is he going to make this work?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it's kind of more of a love story than a whodunit or a thriller. And obviously, there are some suspenseful times where, hey, she's in love with Devlin, which this seems to be a theme. I'm going to mention this now. I have it written in almost every single movie note that I have for the Hitchcock movies. Did people just fall in love easier back then?
I don't know. I mean, shit. People still talk about love at first sight. I mean, it's
I mean, it
which
almost
we all know now. That's just more of like an attraction at first sight. I mean,
right.
it's not. I don't know.
I mean,
I mean, it makes
several of
makes a
these
good story.
movies,
Yeah.
in several of these movies, men and women are saying, "I am in love with you" after 4 days of knowing someone.
Now that's fast, even for
And
lesbians.
if
You remember that
exactly,
from The Office?
exactly,
I said on date 2.
but
That's fast.
that's no, that's my friend Donnie always says that too. Um, but I mean, so he crashes a party. She doesn't know him. She goes drinking. It's like, hey, I want to go drink and drive. Interesting choice.
Yeah. It was
Find,
condoned back then, bro.
finds out finds out he's an FBI agent. Hates him, and then the next day he's like, hey, I have you on wire, saying that you love America. You need to be a spy. And she's like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
And then the next day, so day 3, they're on an airplane together, and they're talking very little on the airplane. And then day 4, she's like, I'm in love with you. Like, what? It was just, it seemed to be a theme in some of these Hitchcock movies, and that's kind of the
Yeah.
essence of a lot of the Hitchcock movies is, hey, I am in love with this person, but I need to make a decision of what was right, what is wrong, what is love, what is not, things like that. But it just kind of blew me away watching all these movies. Like, damn, people fell in love fast back then.
Hey, and it's not like now where it's like social media. You can see a nice pair
Yeah,
of
yeah,
tits and
that's true.
ass
Yeah,
just
you don't have to continue saying
scrolling
that
through the
sentence.
fucking, yeah. So it's, yeah, you don't have to finish that.
Where you can go on social media and look at things.
Yeah, right, right. So I mean, it's, yeah,
Um,
just different times, and plus it's, that's life. Life
that's
happens.
that's just life.
That's
Very
just,
deep.
it's very, yeah. You're like very, very deep, Zach. Good job. uh,
um, and then I really liked in Notorious, and it was shot beautifully, and I thought like I said, sometimes there wasn't a lot of suspense as most Hitchcock movies,
Right.
but in the times that there were, where hey, you're going to get found out. Hey, at the dinner party when they're going down in the wine cellar and they're looking at the bottles of wine, and hey, something was up with this bottle of wine. We need to find out.
Yeah, it's
Is
pretty.
someone
Yeah,
going to come down the stairs? There's suspense there.
yeah.
But I
It's a great
thought
scene too. Yeah.
totally. But I thought the final shot. There's something about Hitchcock. He loves people standing in door frames.
Hmm. Yeah.
And like,
Yeah. Then you. Yeah. It's the.
and you just see the two Germans in the doorway, in the door frame, just standing absolutely still, and the Sebastian character just walking up the steps, and he knows his fate.
Right.
Devlin knows his
We
fate.
know. Yeah.
Us
The
viewers
viewers.
know
Yes.
his fate.
Yes.
What's going to happen? And then Hitchcock says, "Fucking the
That's it.
end."
Yeah. I loved it. I love it, man. Like
Yeah,
that's what we were. That's and it's yeah. That's how I'm viewing, and that's why I have most of those kind of movies higher on the list. Is because
totally.
just I don't need the
Well, I
the
do need it.
hardcore shock and awe, like I mentioned earlier, that type of suspense. I like that subtlety. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, that's Notorious at 4. I guess.
Okay.
Am I going
So
to go 5 for 5? That's the
I,
key.
well, I mean, and these top three are, after my craziness with Dial M at 2.
Yeah.
these,
Your
these are the three.
relapse. Yeah,
These are the three that I figured were going to be in my top three from the
yeah,
start, which they were at the start, and then
yeah.
ended up being at the end. And I figured for you, it's just going to be where do each of us have them in the top three? And really, I mean, it's gold,
You can
silver, or
interchange
gold
them.
at
Yeah,
Hitch. Exactly. Like
yeah. You
we're splitting hairs at this point.
can interchange. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Am I wrong, dude?
You want to
No,
split
Walter,
hairs
you're just a fucking asshole, man.
there? Okay
I'm
then.
finishing my coffee.
What is up
Um,
with us going to the Lebowski all the so that we've been quoting the fuck out
it's
of
just been
this?
coming up naturally, man. Don't We're not forcing it. Which was our number one comedy of all time for those
It
listeners listening.
was. It was.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give my number three here then.
Okay. Yeah.
I have Psycho.
Me too. Me too.
Damn. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But
No, it is. And in mind if I? Oh yeah. Go ahead. Why did you have it at 3? I guess.
you, I understand it. Pivotal when it came out. Iconic movie,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
The ending, especially in the time it came. I forget what year, like 50 something. What a shock! I'm sure it was for people in the audience, right? Especially when at the very last shot where he's like having an inner monologue as his mother,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you're literally going through as an audience member, as a viewer, thinking, oh well, the time where she was yelling, where don't have dinner with some strange woman and she's not coming to my house, and then well, mother doesn't like it when, and they have that conversation with like in the room with the stuffed crows and the stuff, and well, mother really doesn't like this hobby, and you're going through at the end like for that sort of split personality to happen.
Hmm. Right.
It really does throw you for a fucking loop the first time you're seeing it. And
Yeah.
then back then, 50, 60, well, shit, almost 70 years ago now, I'm sure that was very, very novel idea. And I know it's not his idea,
Right.
it's not Hitchcock's idea, but he's the one who put it together.
Hmm.
And then for it to have the main character essentially that you think is going to be in the movie the entire time get
I'm
killed in within
halfway
the first
through it.
40 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, what is happening here?
Yeah. I wrote that down too. And it was basically the founder of the horror genre.
Yeah,
Even if
it began
you,
slasher movies.
yeah, even if we
Even though
don't
there isn't a
like,
lot of slasher.
yeah, right. Other than the shower, that's it. But
That's the one scene, sure.
yeah.
And I rewound that scene because I knew the ending, right?
Hmm.
I knew it wasn't his mother. I knew it was him the whole time. I
Yeah.
rewound that scene probably 3 or 4 times just to kind of, and I'm like, what? It is long hair, and there is like kind of a female facial structure to this character. But if you
Yeah.
really slow it down, you look at it like he was just like in the second to last scene where he gets caught. He is using the voice dialect of his
Hmm.
mother. I
Hmm.
mean, but
Yeah.
again, like you and I have discussed, we're not big on horror movies. You and
Yeah.
I.
Yeah.
And
But
I don't know if I would say this is a horror movie, but
I mean,
that's my
shit,
take.
it was
I
scary
have to,
as fuck back then. Yeah,
yeah.
it scared the shit out of people back then. But I kind of, and I admitted that I hadn't seen this movie before, but over the years, like I already knew that Janet Leigh died, and it was
Hmm.
groundbreaking for its time, and I know that Anthony Perkins or Norman Bates, like it wasn't his mother, like he was the killer, but
Which kind of takes away.
I kind of compared it to Breaking Bad, where it's like, dude, I know what the fuck's gonna happen. That's why I don't
Yeah,
watch it. Like I've seen so many clips and so many this, and this, and like, oh my god, great, he's gonna be a drug keeping. Yeah, go figure. But
yeah,
I love Breaking Bad after it didn't disappoint, and this was the same way where I was like, okay, it'll be impressive if I think it's great, even though I pretty much know that everything's coming down the pike.
yeah.
So,
And
and
that,
it didn't disappoint. I was like blown away by it, and even like the iconic Bernard Herrmann theme,
hmm,
Rivals, and obviously it was probably inspired John Williams's Jaws theme a little bit. And plus, I
definitely,
mean, it was Hitch's highest grossing movie
definitely.
ever, so
Oh,
like
for sure.
that's yeah.
And you
I
can
mean,
see why.
yeah, totally.
But I think it's like that in the sense with, people in our generation where we just grew up hearing about these movies and
Hmm.
like, oh, they're such great movies. Like, oh, it's one of the best top 5 movie of all time. And it's like, okay, I've heard that my fucking entire life.
Yeah,
So now
yeah.
you go in with it like, let me knock this down a peg.
Hmm. Hmm. Like we did
And
with
I'm not saying I
Vertigo.
did that, right? But you're
Yeah.
like you were saying, like I already knew Norman Bates was the killer, and then there's been the Psycho remake with Vince Vaughn, and then American Psycho with Christian Bale. Like
Hmm.
we've already seen this happen. We kind of know, but it was pivotal for its time. You know, groundbreaking for the slasher genre. If either of us had it less than 3,
Maybe we shouldn't do the pod anymore.
I was just gonna say maybe we need to fucking not quit our day jobs, but not quit our fucking hobby
Yeah.
pods. Like, so yeah, the completely. I had it at 3. You had it at 3. I obviously it's going right there at 3.
Yeah.
Now here comes the big drum roll. What'd you have it to?
I had Rear Window.
Oh, we're just gonna round it out. Top
But
3,
no
same.
shit. There we go. I
Yep.
think I'm going to go 5 for 5, like I said. All right, man. First round. First ballot Hall of Famer right here,
Fuck
man.
yeah. In my mind, these two were again after my crazy dial M. This is what I had to start with, and this is what I figured were gonna be my top 2, top 3. You can't. I mean, it's hard to. Well, it would be hard to argue differ, or it wouldn't be hard to argue differ, because I think in one of the reviews that I read by Ebert, it wasn't about Notorious because I couldn't find Notorious's Ebert, but
Hmm.
it was in a different review of his where he said Notorious is his favorite number 1 Hitchcock. He had
Oh, really?
Notorious at number 1.
Nice. Nice.
He thought it was the most beautifully made, suspenseful, but yet not like Hitchcock e.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So for us, these 3, I mean, what can you say?
Yeah. And that's one of the things I wrote was, I mean, it's from the perspective of a guy with a broken leg in a wheelchair.
Hmm.
It's all he's doing is panning from one apartment window to another, but telling a story. But it's so simple. It's like fucking positively brilliant in a way. It's
Yeah,
like it's simple. Like there's
it's
something to be said about keeping something so plain and simple while making like an American masterpiece. You know what I mean? Because I mean, it
yeah,
really is. Like it's awesome. It's
and
one
you
of
got
the greats. Yeah.
and you got to think maybe some other directors would have put it from a point of view of shit. I can't Hollow. What was their last name? The killer's last name. Like maybe would have put the camera in their apartment once. When he's sitting
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
dark when all the things are going on, he's just smoking
like
a cigarette.
like he and Grace Kelly, like they would have filmed that confrontation between them or something.
Right. Or,
Yeah,
just taking the camera literally anywhere else other than the apartment. Like,
yeah, yeah.
and I think he just, hey, if we're going to do this, I'm going to dive all in. We're not going to leave this apartment. It's going to
Right.
be shot
Yeah.
from the point of view of James Stewart in his fucking wheelchair. And it just so happens, that he's a photographer and he's got an ultra lens and he's got binoculars, things like that. But
Yeah.
and I have to say, North by Northwest, maybe the most sprawling Hitchcock movies.
Yeah.
The most outside set piece. Like we're shooting on location in New York. We're shooting on location in Indiana. We're shooting on location in Mount Rushmore. Well, not at Mount
Well,
Rushmore.
yeah, I
Obviously, they had
got
to
you. Yeah.
do. Yeah, they had to do. Life-size replicas because they got denied.
I've seen it.
But I
In
have
LA.
not.
I saw that. It's
I
pretty
know it's
pretty
on my
cool.
list for next summer.
Nice.
I've visited 20 national parks. Haven't fucking been to Mount Rushmore.
Well, I've seen the duplicate from the movie actually.
Oh
The
shit!
Mount
No way.
Rushmore. Yeah, me and
That's
Dad went
actually
to
kind of
the.
more impressive.
Yeah, no, it's not, but it's all right. Me and Dad went to the American film museum. I can't even remember what it's called now, but we saw Bruce the fake Jaws.
Oh yeah,
We saw that, and then we saw the
the
Mount
animatronic.
Rushmore exterior. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. So interior, whatever. But
But yeah, it's just so funny that we have 1 and 2 at 1 and 2, where Rear Window is literally from this point of view shot. Pretty much the entire. I think the entire movie is shot from his apartment complex,
yeah,
staring down into this courtyard. And then you have North by Northwest, where they're out in these sprawling. A plane is literally chasing Cary Grant, like
yeah.
and
Didn't we talk about why don't they just land the plane and kill them?
yeah, no shit. We could talk about that, but that'd ruin
Nah,
it, right? Like,
yeah, let's not nitpick. It's number one. Don't
it
nitpick it
is,
much.
it
Yeah,
is, and in my opinion, it is the best. I mean, it's the most fun in my
yeah.
and
That's
we
what I said too. It has everything that every other Hitchcock film has, but it's actually funny. Like I think
yeah,
Cary Grant's hilarious, and I
dude.
do believe it's his best ensemble cast too. Yeah, Grant, Eva Marie Saint,
Oh,
James Mason, freaking Martin Landau.
Landau.
It's got a good score. Where sharp cinematography and stuff. They look the stylish wardrobes. Everybody's
For
looking
sure,
good,
for
So
sure.
and
Well, then
you
it's the
mentioned it. The
iconic
two
plane.
right, exactly. Yeah, the two most like some of the most iconic scenes in cinema history are in this, and a
Exactly.
lot of people consider it like the first Bond movie before Bond was a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Well, then it's the one kid that covers his ears before the gunshot.
yeah,
The lore that comes with that.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
the first time I watched North by Northwest, when Eva Saint Marie Saint comes onto the screen and just happens to be there to save her or save him, and then happens to invite him in, and then lies to the cops, and I'm like, this is a femme fatale. This is the
Yeah.
bad guy, right? She's
Mhm.
luring him in with her fucking sex appeal just to kill him. And then
Mhm.
they get off the train and she gets on the phone and it's, okay, you guys have him? Like, oh, I nailed it. And then you get to the end of the movie and it's, oh, no, actually, they double agented me.
Yeah, they do.
She's a double agent and I was being double crossed at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. And like you said, Cary Grant's hilarious when he's like on the phone with his mother after they get him drunk and like,
No, they didn't give me a chaser.
I wrote that line down. It's like, no, they didn't give me a I am gassed. And then she asks how much, and he holds his hands out like, I drank this much. Like
And even like it going back to
the
his
auction.
mom when they're in the freaking elevator, then she just starts laughing with everybody. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing, mom?"
Yeah. And then coming in, into the hotel, and it's like Kaplan. I don't think anyone's ever seen Kaplan. Like, and then they go through again at the auction scene, which I laughed my ass off at that auction scene. I mean,
Oh yeah,
$1,500.
he's trying. Yeah, yeah.
Sir, the price
$16.
is $2,000.
Yeah,
$1,300.
for that hunk of junk. Yes.
That's a fake. I can see it. Anybody can see it.
Oh crap!
It's
He's a
fun.
clever guy, man. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
clever.
it's fun. And then, but yeah, Rear Window. Before we wrap this up, I said we are going to talk about Grace Kelly. Holy cow!
Yeah,
I, you know, uh,
I mean, dude,
I
she's a beautiful woman, man.
she is absolutely gorgeous
I mean,
in Rear
I'll
Window.
take him Novak, but
There's
that's just my.
we'll go head to head on that any day. Maybe we'll do a podcast just about those two. But there's a scene where she just starts to kind of actually believe him about what could be happening on the other side of the courtyard. And she
Right.
comes in with this green skirt and this white top, backless, and she's got her hair done, and her fucking bright blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I had heard of Grace Kelly, right? I mean, any
Yeah.
movie fan knows the name Grace Kelly.
Yeah.
I couldn't have. I probably couldn't name more than 2 or 3 movies that she's in, even before this podcast or
Mm-hmm.
after. But going through that and like seeing that scene, I was like, this woman,
It's breathtaking. Yeah.
she is phenomenal. And
Well, and
and
y-
how and why I want to lead this into it, it's how James Stewart talks to her in this movie. You
oh
have
shit.
one
Yeah.
of the most beautiful women in the world on your lap in your wheelchair, and you're like, well, I just
Oh
don't think
wow.
I only have one bed in my
Oh
apartment,
my,
so
that's a pretty good impression,
well,
Jared.
you.
Building
I
an
hope you
alone
brought an
buddy.
overnight bag. Like, what the fuck, dude?
That's pretty good, man. I liked it.
I've been working on it.
No, my building it alone, buddy, old pal.
Well, and I wanted to mention this too. I have it in my notes, and I was talking to my boss John, who I've talked to you about, who loves the Bond movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just turned 65 this year. So I mean, obviously not around when this was released, but when he was young, it was still one of those like, oh, you have to see this movie.
Yeah.
James Stewart's accent almost took me out of the movie at times because it's like a half Connery, half something. And I know he's from Scotland. There's a scene where he's trying to talk to his detective buddy into going into the apartment and like investigating. Well, if you're, I mean, I should just call a cop. That actually does cop
Well,
work. And my,
well, he no, he's yeah. Jimmy Stewart's not. He's an American. He's not. He's not from Scotland or England or anything. He was actually a quite the hero in World War II. Man, he was like a B-29 pilot or something. But
we're talking about Jimmy Stewart.
yeah, Jimmy Stewart. He just talked funny, bro. It's just
He just talked funny. That
yeah,
was his
that's
shtick.
just his style, man. That's just the way he
Uh,
talked. You're like, sorry to burst your bubble, but I mean, he served
okay. Well, he
in World
was
War II, but
Of Scottish and English descent.
maybe, yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, no. So yeah, he was born in Pennsylvania to immigrants who came here from Scotland.
Should
So
have been a fucking
maybe his parents talked that way in the home, and he
yeah,
picked up
yeah.
on that shit. Um,
Could have just been an asshole and been like, since when is Pennsylvania in the UK?
oh, I forgot that Pennsylvania is in Scotland with fucking William Wallace, eh?
Yeah,
But yeah, no, his accent kind of took me out of his just and yeah, no, I talked to John about it. He's like, dude, that's just how he talked, and it worked for him,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it got him roles, and it made him famous. It got him women. Like he was able to pull it off. But
yeah.
so Grace Kelly and James Stewart's accent or non-accent, I guess, is the last two things I wanted to talk about. But okay, all right, we'll wrap this up. Zach, we're doing phenomenal here. We're right at an hour 31, which is our sweet spot, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's usually that's the like you said the sweet spot.
Hugely. All right, so our final rankings now. We did a recap earlier with our 10 through 6. I will skip the 1 through 5 here, and we'll just do our top 10. Coming in at number 10, which doesn't mean it's not a bad, or doesn't mean it's a bad movie. Shadow of a Doubt.
Mm-hmm.
9, Strangers on a Train. 8, Dial M for Murder, which maybe could have been 2. Maybe not. I don't know.
You just switch it anyway. Like you just put it
I
at
just
two.
read it off and hope you don't notice.
Oh, no.
Rear Window at 8. And number 7,
Yeah, yeah.
Dial M for Murder. At number 8, Rebecca 7, Rope at 6. At number 5, Vertigo. Number 4, Notorious. The crazy movie Psycho coming in at 3. Rear Window, James Stewart, Grace Kelly at number 2. And our number 1 Hitchcock movie, which we agreed upon, North by Northwest. What a hell
Nice.
of a pod.
That was a good one, man.
I thought it
That's a
was
good
really good.
list. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's I'll go toe to toe with anybody else's list for this.
Yeah.
And again, If you listen to us on Spotify or on YouTube, please give us a comment, give us a like, give us a follow. Follow us on Facebook. You can see Zach and I's ugly mugs on our cover photo. We are the Average Jives, Jives. Again, we're just two high school buddies who love to talk about movies, so we don't claim to be that intelligent.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But Zach, anything to wrap it up?
No, man. I'm good. It was a fun episode. Got a
It
lot of
was.
laughs.
Do we want to tease for our next pod?
Oh, we'll just keep
Perfect. I don't
it
want
a
to anyway.
surprise. Yeah. Keep it a
Okay.
surprise.
All right. Again, we are the Average Jives. My name is Jaaron. I'm here with Zach. Please tune in next week. We'll have another pod where we will argue and debate and laugh a lot and use a lot of Big Lebowski quotes.
Yeah.
And hope you guys enjoy us. Luke Metzel, shout out.
Yeah. Good old
All right.
Luke. Yeah.
See you
Good
next
night,
week, Zach.
everybody. Later, Jake.
Wrap. It's a wrap. Come back tomorrow.
Harry,
Fuck.